Absolutely. Channel 5 has to be put over at some points. Now, we're not people who want to see Big Brother die. I don't think people who are campaigning for this want to see Big Brother die either. It was a terrible feeling when it was axed in 2009. Before the end of Series 10, we were promised then 2 more series. We actually got 3. So I felt quite lucky when it went on after it had been cancelled. And now it's back. And I actually have to look at it sometimes and go, wow, we actually have Big Brother back. You know, this was something that was 100% buried by its former channel. They had decided it was done, and that was pretty much it. They cut it, and then we had more or less the burial of the series and the idea at the end of Series 11, and of course Ultimate Big Brother rounding it all off. But Channel 5 have provided this series in HD. So that's the first plus point. I have to say it's an incredible show to watch in high definition. I know people have said, well, why would you want to see a guy picking his toenail in high def or stuff like that? But there is great moments, and it is a visual treat now to watch it. I have to say that. And of course, he talked as well about the editing. That has actually improved a bit day by day. I think you were more or less saying that you know, it's a work in progress, and they're getting there. You know,
well, it can't be easy to, especially now that there is no extra bits. You know, that it's just 1 hour for the most part. I'm sure it's not an easy task for anyone to, even if it's a team that Channel 5 have. I'm sure it is to edit it down to 1 hour. But yeah, the first couple of shows, maybe the first 2. Possibly 3, I think. Yeah, the editing was absolutely terrible. But you know, it has picked up, and I think even last night's show was probably, for me, certainly the highlight. You know, that's the kind of side of Big Brother I do enjoy. I'm sure we'll cover more of that later if people want to call in and discuss their thoughts on it. But you know, one thing as well with the Channel 5 website, I know we aren't licensed to have the, what do they call it, 5 on demand?
that's right. Yeah.
The 5 on demand service. I'd be curious to know, because I don't know the answer to this one, but if there are extra bits there, you know, is it just exactly what you're getting on Channel 5, the 1 hour edited down show, or is there more to it than that on Channel 5?
Well, I think most of the highlight moments make it into the show. There might be 1 or 2 though. They did promise extra, but as you just said there, we're actually in the territory that did once watch Big Brother, but the Republic of Ireland now completely locked out. We can't watch it on TV, we can't watch it on YouTube, we don't have Demand 5. It's a miracle we get to see it at all, but thankfully we do get to see it, despite a lot of efforts. Well, not so much efforts. See, Channel 5 I think have talked about broadcasting in Ireland, but I think the reality is a whole different thing, and I think with that recent change of ownership, and of course Richard Desmond now well, chairing that, if you like, he maybe has not got any plans for Ireland, and it is a little bit of a shame. But you know, talking about that editing, it was really strange at the beginning. There were moments where there was music playing that was just so inappropriate, and it was kind of building up behind a kind of a conversation moment. You might have Tara talking to Pamela, and you'd have this guitar rock or something building up, and you're saying, is it going to stop now? But it was weirdness like that that kind of, you know, kind of at start was like, what is this? This is just altogether weird. But they took a lot of that out for yesterday's episode. As you said, I mean, yesterday's episode was the beginning of something, I thought.
Yeah. Well, the first one of the first night when the housemates entered the house, and the second night, the feel of the whole thing was a bit, what have they done with our beloved? It's as if this is Channel 5's taking it. I don't know if I want to know about it. And if this is all we have, 1 hour, I certainly don't really want to know about it. It was tough going. I didn't think I was going to last until now, to be quite honest. But you know, it has picked up. It has picked up, in fairness. And I think the editing, certainly, not to bang on about it, but has had a huge part in that whole situation.
That's it, and as I said, we're not looking to kill this show, and I have this feeling at the moment that the producers, maybe the people at Channel 5, I think they're slightly kind of confused about this backlash, because it's almost like, well, we saved your show, and why are you getting so vocal about this one little element? Of course, the feeling is there that brings that. That's why it's there, because it exists, and people want something, they're going to try and get it. And indeed, as I said before, it's part and parcel now. You know, it's not something that has never been there before. But I think that we're looking at possible changeover in thoughts as it comes along. You know, days go on and they're moving away from the musical montages that really, to me, were the bane of Big Brother 11. I mean, I didn't like when they cut away for 2-3 minutes and sort of played some kind of song, but last night was different. It was more like reality moments. Traditional Big Brother.
And I think as well, especially with the cast that housemates this year, it's so unfortunate. I thought it was, you know, I did say earlier, Jedward I wasn't too keen on, but I've grown to really enjoy what they have to offer, and they fascinate me for the most part. But it's such a shame with a cast that strong. I genuinely believe this year's cast is really, really strong and has a hell of a lot more to offer than we've seen. And for that not to be showcased is probably one of the worst crimes Channel 5 could possibly, you know, commit.
Yeah, it's a slow builder. It's one that is going to build over time. You can see the feuds developing gradually, and they have certainly picked some fiery characters. Pamela Bach Hasselhoff in particular, I'm looking to see her go further than she did last night. Now that's Sally v Pamela. That thing is going to be big if Sally stays in. And of course we will talk eviction prediction. But, see, the problem is, again, we have this situation where 3 people who are good characters, because even Bobby turned it around last night, are set for that chopping block. And even though we have this vote to save thing, it hasn't added up to us keeping the good characters. Who would have thought? You see, Bobby is overlooked, and I think we will mention him a good bit. We've got about 3 hours here tonight, but I'm looking forward to hearing thoughts as well from people on the outside of this house. The Skype username is Big Brother Bytes Back. Add us at any time, and you know, later on we'll pick up that Skype line.
And we promise you will not see CGI graphics every 2 minutes with our names popping up just to remind you who we are. In fact, although we do have them, don't we?
They're there, but
we'll do one flash of them just to remind people maybe now, and then you'll never see them for the next hour and a half. That's a promise.
Well, you know, the people in here probably know our names by now, and it's nice to have 20 viewers in as well, which, you know, first time we've ever sat here live doing this, and it's good to have your company. Now, let's talk about your comments in the chat room, not to forget you guys. Big Brother UK in the chat room says Channel 5 only have to look at the fans' reaction to Big Brother 10 without 24/7 live feed. They've got no excuses. Live feed fan says doing a great job, thanks to you. And indeed, we wouldn't have a show without the people who tune in. Say no to drip feed. Great username. You know, that's become the description for what we get now. Once a night, we get 45 minutes of little bits and pieces, a drip feed. Say no says, who will want to read a Twitter feed for a bunch of nobodies during normal Big Brother for 3 months? And this is where it's going now. People are saying, well, there's audiences of about 2.4, 2.5 million for this nightly, which apparently Channel 5 are delighted with, and again, power to them for that. They keep this format alive. But, you know, is it going to last when it's normal people?
Yeah, we questioned that earlier on, and the comparisons between Celebrity Big Brother and the normal Big Brother. I think they're going to struggle. They're going to really, really struggle this year. If they continue to just bring it down to 1 hour, it's going to be tough going for everybody involved, you know. I think for the media to get on board with it, for the casual fan and for the hardcore Big Brother fans, everybody's going to find it tough, you know, unless, you know, they can up it to 2 hours possibly as an alternative. I mean, it will be somewhat better than 1 hour, because, you know, we're in for a bit of a hairy one if it is the case.
Absolutely. You know, you'd wonder what the summer, I still call it the summer series, but what is that series coming up with normal people going to be like? That's going to answer a lot more questions, because it was, when this first started, a kind of a series of questions. Do they still have archive from Channel 4? We learned that actually they don't. They can't rely on that archive anymore. They can lease those clips, but ultimately I don't think they have access to it, which is a big blow really. I mean, you don't have some of the most famous moments from the show there ready to press play, which kind of shows you that again it's tricky for them. They are trying to build this franchise from more or less scratch, because when you see them going around the kind of offices and stuff, it's all new. You've got a new control area, new everything. So I know very well that they've put a lot into this, and it shows. It's a quality looking show, and indeed I think as well firing up, because we've got a page of topics here. It was so simple to just look at the show. There's so many things going on, and I think it was last night in particular. I hope that momentum keeps up now.
Yeah, you could pretty much write a Bible on what happened just about.